In today's video, we're talking about the Wiliams Justice Court. The Wiliams Justice Court is a misdemeanor court in Coconino County in Arizona. We see a lot of people charged with crimes out of this court, so today we'll tell you a little bit more about it. We'll tell you about the court's jurisdiction. We'll tell you about the prosecutors who are in charge of representing the government if you're charged with a crime. We'll tell you a little bit more about the judge himself. So let's dive into it. When we're talking about the court's jurisdiction, we're talking about the geographic area over which the court has power. What land does the court control or have authority to hear cases? This is important because if you are cited into this court, let's say you're given a ticket, a criminal speeding, a DUI, a reckless driving charge, and it tells you you have to go to Wiliams, but the actual event happened inland outside of the court's jurisdiction, the court doesn't have authority to hear your case, and that's ripe for an easy dismissal. So that's why it's so important you know the jurisdiction. In Wiliams' jurisdiction, it's not very cut and dry. It's not very clear what it covers and what it doesn't cover. So here's what it looks like. So you can see here, this is the court's jurisdiction in blue, and it's a pretty big, large geographic area up in northern Arizona, just outside of Flagstaff. Now, the vast majority of cases that we see are happening right there as the I-40 passes through. So you can see in blue is the court's jurisdiction. The I-40 runs right through it. The I-40 is a very, very big interstate freeway that passes throughout basically the entire United States. A lot of people pass through here when they're going to visit Flagstaff or travel over to Las Vegas or Kingman. They also will pass through here when they're going to visit the Grand Canyon, or when they're going up north to Page to see Horseshoe Bend, or when they're going over to the southern rim of the California, or even the northern portion as well. So what you'll see here, a lot of people pass through here, and this area is going to be patrolled by DPS, the Department of Public Safety, or the Coconino County Sheriff's officers, or predominantly the officers who are in charge of patrolling this court's jurisdiction and that I-40 right there. And so what do we see in terms of crimes? It's going to be traffic-related offenses. We see criminal speeding, reckless driving. We see a lot of commercial vehicles, so commercial trucking, semi-trucks, and big commercial vehicles pass through. So we'll also see commercial trucking violations, and we'll occasionally see DUIs as well. Really anything that's related to traffic or getting charged with a crime while in a vehicle, we'll see as they pass through this court's jurisdiction on that I-40. So if you are cited for an offense, for a charge with a crime, or even arrested and booked, that crime is going to be handed over to the Coconino County Attorney's Office. They're the ones responsible for prosecuting the case against you. And like almost all prosecuting agencies in Arizona, they operate on a policy basis, which means they set policies and then the prosecutors follow those policies. It's a little bit different than what some people might think about when they watch movies or TV shows. Like, you're going to be negotiating with a prosecutor who has a lot of authority, who has a lot of discretion to dismiss your case or to give you a good deal. The reality is it just doesn't work like that for the vast majority of crimes that we see. People are cited for a crime. If it's over the county attorney, it's over the prosecutor's policy limit, they're not going to reduce it down unless you give them good legal cause. The reason why I explain this in this video and many others is because people often think that they can just make a phone call or tell the prosecutor, this is my first offense, and that suddenly is going to resolve their case, or they're going to get a reduction, or the prosecutor's going to say, hey, that's a nice guy or a nice gal, and then dismiss the charges. It just doesn't work like that. So it's important you understand that so that you're not getting blindsided when you're dealing with the prosecutor's office or doing more harm in your case by eliminating some of the defenses that we might otherwise employ. When you bring a defense attorney on board, what we do is we interview, we request all sorts of data, dash cam footage, GPS data, body cam footage, everything that you can think of related to the offense, and then we conduct our interviews and we do our investigation. That will lead us to find flaws in their case where officers may have missed something or done something outside of protocol, and then that gives us good legal cause to ask for that reduction, to ask for that deviation is what we call it, in order to get you a better deal. Now, if you're dealing with the prosecutor, you're also going to be dealing with the judge. The judge is the person who rules the court, and in this particular jurisdiction, it's Robert Krombeen. This judge is somebody who is not a practicing attorney in Arizona, but he's been elected in 2010, took office in 2011, and has been a judge ever since. He's been there for a long time. As long as I've been practicing, he's been there. He's somebody who retired retired from the Wiliams Police Department, so he's local to this area, and he was a United States Air Force veteran. In our opinion, working with this judge, they rule on motions fairly quickly. It's a very reasonable court to deal with. Typically what we find out of this jurisdiction, and actually all judges in northern Arizona, is they're a little bit harsher on criminal speeding offenses. They see a lot of accidents happen on that I-40 there. They see a lot of people die or be severely injured in accidents, so they're a little bit more difficult when it comes to criminal speeding and things like reckless driving. But very similar policies to the other judges out of Coconino County. They're a little bit difficult to work with when it comes to asking for driving school or for getting reductions down. Sometimes they will just be a little bit more difficult. You need to be a little bit more persuasive when you're making requests to them. Again, these judges, they like to operate sort of on written documentations rather than requiring mandatory court appearances. So you want to get your paperwork in order and get it sent into the court on time and not be late so that the court's not issuing warrants or doing anything like that. In other words, do not wait till the last minute to handle your court date. Make sure you're on top of it. Make sure that you're well prepared. Very reasonable staff, reasonable judge. We like working with people out of Wiliams. So if you or somebody that you know or love has been charged with a crime out of Wiliams, give our office a call. We handle all sorts of cases all around northern Arizona, Wiliams included, so we know all the DPS officers, all the prosecutors, and this particular judge. So we'll be able to review your case and give you our thoughts on it. We don't charge anything for an initial consultation, a case evaluation with our team, so you really have nothing to lose. So give us a call. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and thanks for watching.